Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Big Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024. If you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets in college hoops and other sports, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Tuesday in college basketball. First up is Northwestern and Iowa. This one's 7 p.m. Eastern on Peacock. This is a conference matchup. The Big Ten does this a lot where we see a couple of conference games thrown in there in the middle of non-conference play. Both of these teams will play 2 Big Ten games before going back to non-conference action. But in this matchup, Iowa is home. They're 6-1 in the season, but they played a really weak strength of schedule, ranked 344th in strength of schedule in Division I. Their one loss was their one step-up game against Utah State, an 8-point loss in that one. Really no shame in that loss, but for me, we're used to seeing Iowa be in a very strong offensive team, basically an offensive juggernaut, and not a great defensive team. This season, I think their defense is improved, but I also think their offense is nowhere near as strong as we're used to seeing. And when you look at the points per game numbers on paper, it doesn't really look like Iowa's missing a beat. I mean, they've scored plenty of points this season, 110 in their last game against USC Upstate, but in that one step-up game against Utah State, just 69 points scored in that game, and the adjusted efficiency number is ranked 43rd in the country, which is still pretty good, but not as strong as we're used to seeing Iowa teams. I think that number continues to decrease as the season goes along, as when you look at Iowa from a shot quality perspective, they're not great to start the season. They're not a good offensive rebounding team. They're not getting to the free throw line. They're also not a good free throw shooting team, ranked 261st in the country in free throw shooting, 68.3%. So I honestly am not big on this Iowa team, at least in terms of where they're ranked right now in the KenPom ratings and where they're being priced at right now against the spread. I think Northwestern's a better team. I think they're the better defensive team, and I think Iowa's offense is overrated. So I'm going to take the points here with Northwestern on the road. Next up, we have Arkansas and Miami. This one's 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2, part of the SEC ACC Challenge. I view this game as a chance to get Miami at a really good price due to their recent results and their 4-game losing streak and the fact they were just upset by Charleston Southern. Definitely a bad loss there, and the Miami defense is definitely struggling right now. But I still think that they're very well coached under one of the more underrated coaches in college basketball, Jim Larrañaga. And this is a very potent offense, an elite offense in Division I college hoops. Yes, Nigel Pack does look like he's going to be out for a few weeks, and that's a big loss for Miami, but I still think their offense will be fine. And like I said, I think we're getting a really good price because of those recent results. You look at Arkansas, this is a very hyped-up team this season. A lot of people liking what John Calipari was brought to the team on paper, but Calipari's been an excellent recruiter. He's not necessarily been the best on-court head coach in recent years. This team has played in 2 step-up games this season in neutral sites against Baylor and Illinois. They lost both of those games and failed to cover in both of those games. And this is now their first true road game of the season at Miami for a young team ranked 242nd in Division I experience. I just don't love this matchup. I don't love this Arkansas offense. While it's fast-paced and can hit some shots from the perimeter, it's a team that's not really doing a great job of taking care of the ball and not getting those second-chance opportunities. Also, not doing a great job of getting to the free throw line, scoring those sustainable buckets. I'm going to go with Miami in this one. I think they score a ton of points, and I think it's enough to cover the spread. Next up, we have Bradley and Southern Illinois. This one's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Now, when you look at both of these teams on paper, you see Bradley at 7-1, Southern Illinois at 3-5. You'd think this is a lopsided matchup in favor of the Braves, but strength of schedule definitely matters at this time of the year, and Southern Illinois has played a much tougher schedule thus far, ranked 54th in strength of schedule. They played the Gators in Gainesville. They played at Oklahoma State. They played some neutral site games against some solid mid-major programs, and they played all different styles of teams. I mean, compare Florida and Oklahoma State, just 2 completely different styles of teams and offenses and defenses. So Southern Illinois is battle-tested, and they've seen everything. They've been all over the place. They've seen all different types of styles. Bradley's played a majority neutral site and home games. They have 1 true road game this season, happened to be their loss by 17 points against Washington State. This is a Bradley team that right now is shooting the lights out of the basketball, 2nd in effective field goal percentage, 4th in three-point percentage. But when you look at their shot quality offensively, this team is taking and making right now a lot of low percentage shots, but I think we see a lot of regression going forward for this Bradley offense, and I'm not in love with the Bradley defense. For me, we're getting an excellent price with the team. It's just as competitive, just as solid as Bradley on the other side, and we get the home team in this one at a really good price with Southern Illinois. So give me the battle-tested Salukis in this one. Next up, we have Florida State and LSU. This one's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern on the SEC Network, another one of those SEC, ACC Challenge games. And we've backed both of these teams a few times this season. LSU, we backed them against Kansas State. We took them against Louisiana Monroe, and then we faded them against Pittsburgh. So we're 3-0 in LSU games this season. And the same thing goes, I believe, for Florida State. We took them against Tarleton, we took them against Hofstra, and we took them against Western Carolina. So we've been seeing these two teams quite well this season, combined 6-0. We'll go for 7 here. I'm going to go with Florida State in this matchup. I think they match up well. I love the defense right now for the Seminoles. They're forcing a lot of turnovers. We know Leonard Hamilton defense is looking to get those 35 deflections per game. They're certainly getting that in a majority of the games so far. Ranked 3rd in turnover percentage. And LSU ranked 261st in turnover percentage offensively, losing the ball just under 20% of the time. For me, Florida State's offense in the half court is not great, but if they're getting those fast break opportunities, they should be able to keep up. This is a fast-paced offense. They're starting to improve those shooting numbers, and they played some tough teams to start the year. You look at the strength of schedule on paper, it doesn't look great, but that one loss against Florida has been unbelievable to start the year. I mean, this is a team that's won every game by double digits this season, so that 13-point loss where the Seminoles were able to score 74 in that game actually looks a little bit more impressive than it did at the time. I like Florida State in this game, even on the road. Give me the Seminoles. And the final game we're to talk about for the Tuesday card in college basketball, it is Kentucky and Clemson, 9:30 Eastern on ESPN, SEC ACC Challenge. Should be an excellent game. I think it could be the game of the night for the Tuesday card, as you got number 4 Kentucky, who's off to a great start this season, 7-0. They have the win over Duke. That was a win and cover as an underdog. But for me, this is a tough matchup. Your first true road game of the season against a Clemson team. It's played some tough games this season. They played at Boise State. I think Boise State's incredibly underrated this season. They played neutral site games against 2 other underrated teams in San Francisco and Penn State. Won both of those games outright. So I like what I'm seeing from Clemson. This is a balanced team. Top 35 in both adjusted offensive and defensive efficiency. Fundamentally strong. They're a good rebounding team. Take care of the basketball, force turnovers. Great three-point shooting team. They're experienced. I think Clemson has everything you would want in a home team. It's looking to pull off the upset, if you will. I mean, this is a pretty close spread, but Kentucky is number 4 in the AP polls while Clemson remains unranked. I don't think they'll be unranked for too long after they pull off this win. Give me Clemson at home. And that's it. Those are the games for Tuesday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and put those college basketball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bet, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.